I'm excited. You probably get tired of me being excited, but like literally, I hope you understand that for as much as I am sharing with you, I'm sharing with me because I need to hear the word. I need to be edified. I need that truth on a daily basis. So it, I love everyone who's watching this, but I also appreciate the time to just kind of come and do my own Bible study aloud and publicly. So thank you for that. What we're going to unpack today is how to survive Halloween. And there's something we're going to talk about at the end that is something I've been working on for a while that I'm going to slowly try to incorporate. I will say it's a little sing-songy, and yes, the dad joke and the hoke meter may be up on this, but it was something that kept coming back to me, and I couldn't forget it. And if I couldn't forget it, my thought was, well, maybe it will help you all as well. And there's two concepts. One is called your map to success. So let me break that down. Mindset, attitude, and practical application. So as we walk through things, at the end, I'm going to sort of recap it with the map to success, which is how do we have the mindset of what we just learned? How do we have an attitude towards what we just learned? And more importantly, how can we practically apply what we've just learned? Now, for a lot of what we talk about, that mindset comes from 2 Corinthians 5:17. Just a little recap, 2 Corinthians 5:17 is all about having a new identity. So many of us have struggled with this for so long that it has literally left an impression. And neuroscience proves that, but neuroscience also proves that we as old dogs can learn new tricks by retraining ourselves. And biblically, the best way to do that is to adopt the mindset of having a new identity. When we talk about attitude, a lot of us have grown up overweight or have struggled our whole lives. And let's be honest, we've never learned what it looks like to live in a healthy mindset or have a healthy attitude. And so one last acronym that I will ask you to go on a journey with me with is the lose attitude. And with the lose attitude, we need to learn what it takes to be healthy, like actually learn for ourselves. And then we have to observe in our lives, where are we missing and where are we doing? And so once we learned a healthier approach, we need to observe where that's not happening in our lives. And then we need to start taking incremental steps to apply that knowledge in our lives. And then every day we just execute. So we learn, we observe, we start, and then we execute. And that's the attitude that I really want us to have moving forward. So the M of this map to success is our mindset. 2 Corinthians 5:17, always looking at things with new eyes. The attitude that I'm going to implore you to have is the lose mindset. Let's learn what it takes. Let's learn a new mindset. Let's observe where that's not happening in our lives. Let's start incrementally making these changes. And then every day, brick by brick, let's execute. And then P is the practical application, because sometimes I go way off to left field. It's like, how does that even apply? And I want to make sure that at the end I go, despite all the chaos that I just shared with you, if you just do these things, life will be well. So as we carry on together in the next few weeks, I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna keep sort of pressing upon that because it's something I've been sitting with as I've been redoing the sort of the second version of the course and of the coaching program. And it's really resonated with me. It's resonated with a few other people. So I want to share it here. So if we start talking about the map approach or the map application or your map to success, that's what we're talking about. The mindset, the attitude, and the practical application. If we talk about the lose mentality, it's all about learning what it takes to be successful, observing where that's not happening in our lives, starting to make those incremental changes, and then just executing on what we know every day. So that being said, back to the point, how to survive Halloween. We're going to bring our wisdom today from Romans 12, verse 2. Romans 12, verse 2. I'm going to say real quick, this is not an anti-Halloween verse. Some may take it and claim it for such. No, I am not saying I am against Halloween. I am against some things that we're going to talk about in a moment, but let's set the stage with this. So, Romans 12:2, do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but rather be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good and pleasing, perfect will. One more time, Romans 12:2. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but rather be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is for his good and pleasing, perfect will. Very important. This is not Jeremy against Halloween. It is not. But I do want to have us typically look at what would a worldly mindset be? Just drop in the chat real quick. I want to see if we're on the same page. When Halloween comes, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Drop it in the chat. I will share mine. I will share my top 3 things that typically come to mind with Halloween. Candy, more candy, and then even more candy. Those are the 3 things that come to mind when it comes to Halloween. Candy, see? Like, that's right. Like, when it comes to Halloween, I feel right. Thank you, Margaret. We all have candy mind. It is just sugar and saccharin on both lobes. It is the number one thing I feel that we struggle with most. But I'm going to challenge you to take a different perspective on Halloween. And one of the fun things that I learned about this was actually from taking trips with my family to Disney. Because people will always ask me, Jeremy, Disney is like the Mecca of amazing food. How in the world do you go there and lose weight? And it's because if you check my Fitbit, I'll walk like 30,000 steps. There's a lot of walking to be done when it comes to Disney. And as I look back over the past few years with my kids, we've done a lot of walking too for Halloween. So where I'm going to challenge you is to let's press pause on the world's mindset, or even of our typical mindset of Halloween, of candy, candy, candy. And for a moment, let's explore 3 ways that we can have an amazing, wonderful time that has nothing to do with candy. And then we'll talk about candy. But for right now, let's talk about 3 amazing things that we can do to celebrate Halloween, be in the world but not of it, in the candy world, and have a great time. The first is just that. Think of all the walking you can do. I'm serious. What has really helped, and there's 2 ways to look at this. One, there are a lot of places that have Halloween 5Ks. That's a super way to make a very fun memory. But the second way is, if you are tracking your steps with your pedometer, make Halloween the gold standard of how many steps can I get in today? How many laps around can I do? How many houses can I see? How many boroughs can I visit? How many steps can I get? Let that be one of the mindsets, because I don't know how your neighborhood is, but my neighborhood looks like a black, purple, and orange Christmas. It's crazy. Like, literally, I've got lights everywhere. I was walking down the street. I don't even need street lights because there's so much illuminating from all the Halloween lights. It's super fun. I go walk by them. So the first thing to do would be like looking at this from a new identity. All the walking. But here's where we get to sort of, and I don't want to say be covertly Christian, but this is where we get to be covertly Christian. How often do we really get to know our neighbors? Like all of our neighbors? I mean, we probably know some of them, but do you know all of your neighbors? Probably not. Is there ever a better time to randomly walk up to your neighbor's house than Halloween? No. In fact, they probably expect you to walk up. This is the perfect time to actually get to know your neighbor and see who they are, where they're at, maybe have a conversation about Jesus or invite them to your church. You don't have to, but you can make a new friend. You never know who you might meet if you're willing to forget the candy for a moment and just visit someone as a person. Yeah, maybe you take some candy or you say no thank you. But since they're expecting people to show up, it's the perfect time to go visit a neighbor you've not seen in a while, or maybe you've never met, and get to know them. Same thing in very closely, but with kids in their costumes. Have you ever taken a moment to ask a kid, like, why are you dressing like this? What excites you about this character? I learned so much from my children just by asking them, like, why do you like Mario? Why do you like Sonic? What's cool about Minecraft? And I don't know if you've ever done this, but kids struggle so hard to feel empowered because everyone's always telling them they're wrong, and that they're not little grown-ups yet, but they want to be. So when you give them the power to say, I know nothing about Minecraft, would you let me know what makes it awesome? All of a sudden they're like, I know more than my dad. It's my time to shine. And they feel so empowered because they're the teacher in that moment. And you get a little glimpse into what's actually going on in their head. So, three mindsets in terms of how can we celebrate Halloween without even focusing on the candy. One, think of all the walking you can do. Two, really love and get to know your neighbor. Learn who they are. Make it your quest to meet literally one new neighbor this year. Have a genuine conversation with them. Find out something that you had no idea was true about them. And then three, another challenge, find a kid's costume that intrigues you and ask them. I mean, they're coming up to your house, you're giving them something, which we're going to talk about in the next few minutes. Like, you've earned the right to ask them why they're dressed like that. It's not weird. They're on your porch. They knew the rules when they came up to get the Snickers. But think about all the seeds that you could plant. Think about all the opportunities. And then think about the ripple effect. If you come off as super cool during Halloween, who knows what happens? You might make a friend. Someone may shovel your driveway during Christmas because you were the one who gave them the awesome thing at Halloween. And it's just these little tweaks to our mindset that have nothing to do with candy, but allow us to celebrate the people who are celebrating the event. But I would be completely remiss if we didn't tactically address the elephant in the room of what do we do with all that candy, candy, candy? Because that is a reality and that is a struggle for a lot of us. So there are seven. Yep, there are seven. I want to make sure. I was thinking about doing five, but then I just kept writing. There are seven tactical things that have helped me keep the weight off, but also allow me to have a really good time during Halloween. And I want to share those as well. So the first tactical tip, buy candy to give out that you do not like. I'm sorry, I've got old man teeth. If I have a Skittles, I literally have to like play tic tac toe with which teeth am I going to eat because I'm afraid I'm going to break off a crown. Like that's truth. Guess what I give away for Halloween? Skittles, because I'm not going to be sneaking those at all. I'm not going to be like pilfering them when the kids aren't paying attention. So tactical approach number one is buy candy to give out that you don't like. If you hate chocolate, perfect time to give out chocolate. If you don't like peanuts, load people up with Mr. Goodbar. Whatever it is that you don't like that you know other people are going to like, let that be the thing that you give out because you're not going to be tempted. Number two, and this was something that my wife and I have actually done for the past 2 years, don't give out candy at all. Find something uniquely awesome. So last year we went to a comic book store and they sold like 50 and 100 pack bundles of Sonic the Hedgehog comics. So we just gave out Sonic the Hedgehog comics, which was perfect timing because Sonic is making a comeback. They just did a movie with Jim Carrey. And so nobody complained. In fact, people asked for seconds. They were like, dude, this is a Sonic book? This is amazing. Can I get one for my friend? Yeah. So while, yes, the person giving away the king-size candy bars got notoriety, guess who got the people giving out the Sonic the Hedgehog comic books? We're trying to get Pokemon for this year. COVID has sort of stalled a few things, but don't buy candy at all. What else can you give? Before that, 2 years ago, we ended up giving away those little Zoom Zooms because I don't know if y'all remember, but Kmart was going out of business. And so we ended up getting a bunch of them for like a dime. So, we had this $3 item that we were purchased for a dime, and so we gave away Zoom Zooms, and the kids loved it as well. So don't buy candy at all. Now, this is not me saying be the dentist who gives away toothbrushes. Like, don't be that guy unless you are a dentist, and then that's perfect business. Like, you get the parents' approval, great. But like, get creative. What can you give away that is not food centric? We did comic books. We've done Zoom Zooms. Number 3, and this is probably more for the parents, don't be the bully. And what I mean by that is don't steal your kids' candy. I've got a really good friend who I debate. He's like, no, it's called the dad tax. The kids need to learn about the dad tax. I'm like, are you a bigger person impressing your will upon someone for a good or service that they don't want to give you? Yeah, that's kind of the definition of bullying. Like, that kind of is. It's not bullying, it's dad tax. No, it's bullying. So number 3, don't be the bully. Don't steal your kids' candy. Like, that would be, why? Why would you do that? Like, literally, there's a phrase called taking candy from a baby. Do you want to be the reason that phrase exists? Don't be that person. Number 4, and this is where I will trust you. Moderation. Fun-sized candy bars, if you have one, are okay. They're tiny, they get you the taste. Fun fact, and I don't know if it's everyone, I would love for you to do the research for me and or with me, but 2 days ago I went to Rite Aid, and Rite Aid was selling 100-calorie candy bars, right with the regular ones. And I was so intrigued because I'm like, this is the perfect serving size for a dessert. Like, this is 100 calories is a perfect taste. And I almost bought one, and then I was like, wait a minute, like, the 50 cents. There's gonna be bags of them. Like, I can get like 8 of these for $1 with the bag system. I'm not gonna buy it, but I was super intrigued that it exists. And so, if you've got the willpower and you can do just one, enjoy that one. Like, savor it. Don't overdo it, but have one. You don't have to neglect yourself. But again, don't be the bully and hoard all of them from your kids. Just have one. Number 5, I've seen this recommended the opposite way, and it always backfires. So I'm going to say don't be this person. So what some people will do is they will restrict themselves calorically during the day to save all those calories so they can have candy at night. But nutrition is a thing. And so what ends up happening is you get so hungry by the end of the night, you overeat the candy, which is already having limited nutrition, which then mentally you end up eating more because you're like, I'm still hungry. And so rather than having an appropriate amount of candy, you way overdo it. So focus during the day, or if you're having a Halloween party, on being filled up with actual food. Like, those are the days, October 31st, those are the days to have a salad or to have lean meats, to really have nutrient dense meals, so that when you get to giving out candy, you're not hungry and you're not convincing yourself that you need it because you haven't eaten for hours. A little bit more of a pro tip is try to eat that healthy meal about an hour before the trick-or-treating or the handing out starts, because you should be satiated enough to where it's like, I'm already full. So don't be the person who just says, I'm going to save my calories, and then just loses it at the end of the day, because you are setting yourself up for failure, and that would be a shame. So focus on real food that day, or any day that there's going to be a party or something involving the temptation of those treats. Number 6, and this to me is the one I believe the most. Not that I don't believe all of them, but this is the one that I feel cuts through the most BS. Sorry for the harsh letters. Let's just cut the FOMO. Like, people act as though Reese's don't exist every single other week, or like Snickers don't exist every other week, or that Kit Kats don't exist every other week. It's like we go crazy for Halloween candy when literally it's available every day of the year. But for some reason, we get convinced like this is the only time we should have candy, or that we can have candy. And so we build up this FOMO, which is short for fear of missing out, as if this is the only time that Twizzlers will exist. And so we overdo it, and then we go to the store 2 days later and we're like, oh, they're on sale now too. Great. Okay. So not only are they plentiful, they now are cheaper. Okay. Really missed out on that one. But that's where I start to really, really find the value of Romans 12:2, because it's that groupthink mindset. It's for so many of the years we've been programmed, like it's Halloween. This is the time to do. This is the time to do. But we're in control. Like as I mentioned earlier, enjoy one. You don't have to overdo it because they'll be available tomorrow, most likely even cheaper. Just stay in control. So cut the FOMO. And then the seventh sort of tactical tip in all of this is, as you get later in the evening, just start giving it all away. Like, just make it your goal that by the end of the night, there is no extra candy. Like those last 3, 4, 5 kids, just bless them to the nth degree. Fill up their bags or their pillowcases or whatever they're bringing to you. If you're like, look, there's 5 minutes left, I'm just gonna give you this whole bowl. Like, just, I'm gonna keep the Tupperware. You take the candy. Just give it all away. Don't set yourself up for failure because you're gonna have these overages. So let's walk through this with the map to success. So the mindset that's really gonna help us get through this is, let's not be worldly. The world wants us to feel like we're missing out, like this is the only time candy is going to exist. And that's just simply not true. Let's be smarter than that. Let's realize that we can have candy anytime we want. And as long as we do it responsibly, great. So the attitude I feel like we should have in terms of the approach, the attitude should be, well, let's learn from this. Where have we not done these things? Where are we most susceptible? In my world, where I've learned the most, buying candy that's not going to tempt me. I literally buy candy that pains me to eat, so I don't eat it. And that's only a plan B because I've learned a better way, which is, if I can do comics, I'm going to do comics. If I can do things that are awesome but aren't related to candy, I'm going to do that. So learn where your sort of missteps and your challenges are. Observe that in your life, and then just start executing differently. Start doing things differently. And then the practical application is, you don't have to do all these, but do what works best for you. If you find yourself out and about quite often in the Halloween scenario, make sure you're eating plenty of healthy, nutritious foods, because you're not going to be tempted. If you're at Halloween parties, go back to the neighbor mindset. How can I learn from these people? Can I leave here with a friend? Can I make someone feel like a person rather than just a character that they're playing in a Halloween costume? So I feel like if you take these things, whether it's the new mindset to them, whether it's the attitude, the practical approach, if you do these things, even if it's just a few, it's going to help save you from gaining weight over the Halloween season. It's going to help you from feeling like you're missing out on something, because again, there's candy all the time. Like, it's not like candy doesn't exist. But also, like, enjoy people. This is one of the few times where you get a sort of a free pass to be social in ways that we don't typically get to meet people. So, like, let's enjoy it. Obviously, 6 feet with a mask now, depending on your local ordinance. I'm not going to tell you to break the rules, but the heart's still the same. Talk to some people. Meet a neighbor. I feel like if you do these things, you're going to start enjoying Halloween much more. You won't have the sugar coma or hangover that you've had in years past, but more importantly, you're going to leave with your waistline and your heart intact, because you've done something great for yourself, and dare I say, you've honored God in the process by making it about an act of worship with your body and your health rather than just sugar. So I'm going to pray that whatever was supposed to be learned today was absolutely learned.